time since I put on a concert last. Can you believe that I am married now? I have the most loving, supportive husband in the whole world. Jordan, I love you so much. And this one is for you. You and me, I hope we're falling for eternity. Heavenly, hold me and promise that you'll never leave. The one thing that I'm scared of is that your love could be temporary. I could die just looking at you. But if you go before I do, I hope you flicker the lights and send the chill down my spine so cold. Wanna be haunted for life by your ghost. If you're not here by my side, just show me some kind of sign that you're close. Wanna be haunted for life by your ghost. I have a tendency to dwell on all the darkest possibility. No guarantee that we'll wake up together when we fall asleep. Oh, the one thing that I'm scared of is that your love could be temporary. I could die just looking at you. But if you go before I do, I hope you flicker the lights and see me shine on my spine so cold. Wanna be haunted for life by your ghost. If you're not here on my side, just show me some kind of sign that you're close. Wanna be haunted for life by your ghost. And if I am the first one to go, you know I'd never leave you alone. So baby, don't leave me alone.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Of course, it's your favorite breakdown commentator, Consciouztv. Welcome to another riveting episode, and happy Sunday. Hope you guys had a wonderful and blessed weekend, such as myself. You guys already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please run those likes all the way up. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system, which both are fucking struggling because YouTube is a raggedy, okay? Who don't want to pay their content creators. So they're shadow banning everybody's platform, no matter the damn size right now. So us content creators can use all the crowd participation these days, really more than ever. Okay. Also, if you enjoy everything the King does here and you enjoy the King working and seeing me often, you guys can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. Also, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all So that you never miss a day or hour when the king is in fact king. And then last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be a YouTube community, while your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact leave the link. Just let them know that we're loud live and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, honey. Shout out to Styles by Stevie's husband, Bubs to God, honey. Okay, who's singing the hell out of my intro. He had that intro edited for me. He sung it for me, and it was all a gift just because, you know, I'm just so lovable. So shout out to my Bubs, okay? Me and Styles by Stevie's Bubs. Hey, babes, okay? You guys make sure to subscribe to my baby mother over on YouTube and Instagram. Styles, I know you hit me up. I'm going to be hitting you up about November. You know, I've been just out of it the past few weeks, but I'm pulling myself back in. So, you know, I'm ready to socialize again. Okay. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank you guys so much. It's actually way too hot for this type of hair. And I promise to God, this fan is not for dramatic effect. It's actually just hot as hell in Alabama. Okay. It's humid. It's hot. I'm over it. So, girl, I be having to say matte everywhere I am. And then you guys know, not only is it hot as hell, but I'm sitting in my studio, so there's lights everywhere. So, summer is just not the tea. Like, it's way too hot to be having edges. It's way too hot to be using gel. It's way too hot to be having 30 inches of anything down your goddamn head. So, I think I'm going back to my fro hawk in a little bit. I'll pull out the bundles for the winter, honey, for Miss Fall, honey. This is fall hair. This is winter hair, honey. This is not Miss Summer hair, girl. You're going to stroke out in this shit, okay? But I hope you guys are having a Sunday. I want to come real quick and talk on this God-given great Sunday about no other than Kim Burrell. Kim Burrell spoke at the funeral of the 8 children who were unalived by their biological father in Louisiana. I don't know if you guys heard about that massacre, but if you did not, let me catch you up, and then we got to get into Kim Burrell's death tone speech at that funeral, girl, because I'm like, who in the hell is Kim Burrell feeling like? All right, so about a month ago, back in April, a woman and child jumped off roof to escape deadly Louisiana looting, you guys. A woman, let me see here. Hold on, because my camera gonna probably start glitching. A woman and a child jumped from a rooftop to escape a mass looting in Louisiana, where authorities say a father fatally shot 8 children, including 7 of his own. Officials said that they were alerted to the GUN attack in the city of Shreveport at 10:55 GMT on Sunday. The caller reported that they were on top of the house while the suspect remained inside. Police did not identify the survivors or disclose their connection to the attacker, but said that both were in a stable condition. The suspect died following a GUN battle with officers, though it remains unclear whether he took his own life or was unalived by police. 2 adult women, including the children's mother, were also hurt by GUN fire, and both were recovering in hospital, police said. A 9th child was taken to the hospital after jumping from the roof of the home while escaping. Amongst the 8 children killed in the Udine, siblings and one cousin, were 3 boys and 5 girls. They range in age from 3 to 11, according to the Caddo Parish Coroner's Office. Their mothers identified the children as Jayla Elkins and Shayla Elkins, Kayla Pa, Layla Pa, Marcaden Pa, Sharia Snow, Canadrian Snow, and Braylon Snow, officials said. A 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 6, 7, 10, 11, 6, and another 5-year-old. I mean, we're talking about children. Recalling the chain of events on Monday, Shreveport Police Chief Wayne Smith said that within minutes of the initial emergency call, the caller reported that she and her children had fled from the roof and were now in the backyard. Minutes later, the GUN men attacked another home where a different emergency caller told police, quote, that her boyfriend had shot her, taken her 3 children, and fled the scene. Shortly after the call, the police received a report of a carjacking and information that led them to believe that children taken from the second residence might be inside the vehicle. At about 6:29, officers located the suspect and exchanged GUN fire with him. The suspect was found dead at the scene with no children inside the car. Police have not yet established a motive. Chief Smith said that the suspect, identified as Shamar Elkins, had a criminal history but did not provide further details. Quote, all evidence and indications are that this erupted as a domestic dispute, he said, adding that the weapon used was described as an assault-style weapon. It is not yet known how it was obtained. Elkins served the Louisiana Army National Guard from 2013 to 2020 as a signal support system specialist and fire support specialist, but he was never deployed, U.S. media report. Jacob and Tiffany Castleman told KSLA, an affiliate of the BBC's U.S. partner, CBS News, that they heard a barrage as officers exchanged fire with the suspect. Quote, I knew that there was a full-blown shootout, something going. Tiffany said, mind you, we had no clue the later incidents that happened, but I had just full terror. Jacob said that his first thought was, quote, there's no way that this happened behind our house. I was just in total shock. It was just chaos, he said. Fred Montgomery, a neighbor, told CBS News on Sunday of his shock over the incident. Quote, the kids played in the yard every evening, Montgomery said. Yesterday evening, the suspect was sitting on the porch. I waved at him. He waved back. The children were in the yard. And then this morning, we wake up to all of this. Speaking on Monday, officials said that the community must do more to prevent domestic violence. Caddo Parish Sheriff Henry Whitehorn noted that a new domestic violence center had opened in the city just 10 days earlier, and that several of the leaders attending the news conference had also been at the event. Quote, I don't believe that any of us could have imagined that only days later our community would be taken by the most heartbreaking tragedy we have ever witnessed, he said. Police added that they were aware of reports that the suspect had been going through a divorce and was due in court on Monday. The investigation is continuing. My God, today, this is absolutely nuts. This man carjacked someone, ran up into a second house, did a oot out with the police, unalived several of his own children, with the 8th child being a cousin, injuring the baby mama and the mother of another one of the kids, and was a part of the Army, National Guard. Was the divorce the discrepancy that led to this psychotic break in this man? What in the hell would cause someone to unalive their freaking children? What would cause someone to have this type of a mental episode? It's always crazy to me that people would rather take other people's lives instead of taking their own, because you tried to take multiple people's lives, innocent lives at that, before just at the very least taking your own. This leaves itself a barrage of trauma behind. Siblings who got to grieve all of their siblings, mothers who have to grieve the loss of all of their children, a community and neighborhood that has to reckon with this lunacy and insanity. And then you have the killer's family and friends themselves who also have to grieve the loss of him. I mean, heartbreaking and completely outlandish. Let me see if I can find actually another report before we move on for more details, because I think this is one of the earlier reports. Okay, on April 19th of 2026, a father named Shamar Elkins fatally shot 8 children, 7 of his own and 1 nephew, in a domestic violence attack in Shreveport, Louisiana. The victims range in age 3 to 11. Family members and officials noted that Elkins was recently struggling with his mental health and facing a marital separation. He had previous felony firearm convictions, and federal authorities later arrested a man accused of supplying the illegally acquired rifle used in this outing. So that's great news. The person who gave a convicted felon an AR-style rifle was also apprehended and held accountable. The tragic event drew national attention and was one of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States in recent years. On Mother's Day weekend, the community and local faith leaders held a heavily attended joint funeral service for the 8 children at Summer Grove Baptist Church. Before we get into Kim Burrell, who was one of those faith leaders who spoke at the funeral, let's pick up our spirits super quick, okay? Because you guys need to absolutely support, stream, download, and purchase Dr. Reed's new song, Ibukun, okay? Pronounced Ibukun. Available on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora, Audiomack, iTunes. Okay, you guys know I played this song a few days ago. It gives me absolutely childhood nostalgia. This is a song that could easily be a part of Fern Gully or the Lion King soundtrack. It is so positive, so upbeat, so well produced. Dr. Reed also did the AI video for the song, which he did all by himself. I don't know how he even did that because he got cataracts, okay? He could barely damn see, and yet sat there and did an entire AI video with dancers, visuals, the whole 9. If you are looking for something in this very crazy, turbulent, depressive time where so much is going on with the government, so much is going on with society, and you just need a song that just makes you feel like a kid again, if you just need a song that just makes you feel like your 3-year-old, your 6-year-old self, and just raises your vibration and puts that spunk into your aura, you need to listen to Ibukun, which stands for and means blessing and or a gift for God, okay? This is a saying out of the Yoruba culture, okay? Blessing, don't you need some of that? A gift from God? Isn't CTV that? All right, so check out Ibukun by Dr. Reed, and then we will return to our regular scheduled programming. All streaming links are in the description box below. See you in 3 minutes.
Now here's the song everyone to sing. I'm not worried about a thing. Yesterday things A new day appeared. I'm blessed. Yes, I'm blessed this year. Oh, blessed. Yeah. I'm blessed this year.
Yes, that's me singing background.
I'm blessed this year. I'm up, I'm alive. Favor on me, yeah. I'm built to survive. Every loss turned into a win. I never done that. I'm coming back again. I'm blessed this year. I'm blessed this year. I'm blessed. Say it again, I'm up. I rise, I win, no fear. It's going, it's clear. I got joy. Down in my soul, I got peace. I'm in control. Every beat coming up good. Everything working out just good. Hands to the sky. Freedom of heart. I'm blessed this year. Claim me on here. I'm blessed this year.
And is, what you gonna do about it? Get you some. You just did a little bit. Hey, 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 hey. Ah, don't you just feel so much better? Don't you just feel so refreshed? Ah, I feel so much better already. My God, like this is my get up and get the day started song. And this is my go to bed song, okay? To wake up, to remind myself that I am so infinitely blessed. And to go to bed knowing that I am infinitely blessed. Once again, you guys, Dr. Reed's streaming links are in the description box below. In Boom Coon, take it to #1. Put it on the Hot 100 billboard. Take it to #1 in the country. Put it #1 every mother well, okay? And make sure that you guys give the lyric video, which really isn't even a lyric video. It's really an entire freaking music video, a click and a view on YouTube. Once again, all available. Links are in the description box below. And make sure that you guys screenshot, okay, this overlay here where you can download Imbucon and all of Dr. Reed's musical catalog at whatever streaming service is of your personal preference. Shout out to Dr. Reed, okay? We need a song like this for times just like these. So let's get back into the heaviness now that I have risen my vibration. All right, Kim Burrell in her big ass wig gives powerful message during funeral of 8 children unalived by their father in mass shooting. Check out what Kim Burrell had to say. Hopefully I can make it through this without even having to pause it. I'm gonna try to let it play all the way through.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Today is still the day that the Lord has made. I pray that every person that stands here will be a strong encouragement and a reminder to this family. God is still on the throne. He is still real. It's not for us to always understand. It's just for us to know that God is God. Sometimes God does things. He makes choices so that he can get us to pay a deeper, closer attention to him. Thank God for innocence lying before us. There are not a lot of people. There are some people who are housed in these boxes, and sometimes it's questionable. We don't know where they're going. But I've got a feeling. I said, I've got a feeling now. I said, I got a feeling about all 8. Can somebody thank God for purity and innocence? the things that God let them not have to encounter, the stuff we're having to go through as adults. Thank God for the victory right here. Hallelujah. Just give me a minute without that music. I need some real worshipers that don't need no music to send this family home with the reminder that God is still God. I need somebody to praise him like he's real. Praise him like he makes no mistakes. Remind everybody in here he's the God of all wisdom, of all love, of all kindness. He is still that loving God. He is still that healing God. I know, family, I've been where you've been, in predicaments close to this, not exactly, but close enough to feel the pain of wonderment, to ask the question, why? Is this fair, God? How could you, Lord? He's still God. The same God that healed you from the stuff that you didn't want to tell nobody about. He's the God that makes decisions like these, that makes us walk away scratching our heads. But he is a God that doesn't have to give us all the clues. Just know that he makes no mistakes. I dare somebody lift your hands and say, ain't no mistakes in here. I dare you to say, there are no mistakes going on in this room. You got to take authority over the enemy. There are people who have to live with this for years to come. But I want you to make a decision, family. We're with you. How many of you are in here with the family today? We're not here to just spectate, be a part of a story. No, we're here for you. I don't live in Louisiana. I came from another state because I care. I wanted this family to know that.
Girl, you came to speak because this tragedy got national attention, and it was going to be lights, camera, and action. Had this small town Louisiana family's tragedy not picked up any sensationalism, we know you would not have taken any of your perfect, virtuous Christian time to be there for this family, as if this is the only family that has ever needed this type of community due to a tragedy, because we don't see you attending nobody else's funeral. All the Black children who are unalived by random gun violence or at the hands of their parents or at the hands of their schoolmates, etc., all of the grieving Black families that experience homicide of various kinds. It's the fact that she even elevated herself in a moment like this. Like, look at me and look what I have done. Look at me, Kim Burrell. I took time out of my schedule, okay, to do this holy, selfless thing. Do Christians realize that the definition of selflessness is to quiet your damn self in the situation? Like, you turn you all the way on the mute because it's actually not about you. Not to even mention I'm gonna get into it. Because, girl, the whole introduction into the speech had my mouth on the entire floor. Like, if I had been in attendance, if I was the mom or the loved one of any of these children or family members, I would have threw my red bottom at Kim Burrell's head from the audience, just like Cardi B did at the Harper's Bazaar event to Nicki Minaj. Because who is you playing with?
God is real. And guess what's going to happen even after this? He going to make a way somehow. Come on, church. I said he's going to do it. He's already started. He's already doing it. God's got you, okay? To the family, to the parents, to the aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, God's got you. Come on, let's have church. Tell somebody the Lord will make a way somehow. Come on, if you have children in the room that's having to witness this, look at your baby right now and say, the Lord will make a way somehow, baby. If your child is here, hug your child and then stand up and let's put our hands together. Come on, we're here to encourage the family. We can't be sad today. Come on. Come on, remind the family. Like a ship.
Okay, yeah. Not going to hear all that. So let's talk about this deftone speech from the beginning, actually. Hello, I want you to hear it one more time.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Today is still the day that the Lord has made. I pray that every person that stands here will be a strong encouragement and a reminder to this family. God is still on the throne. He is still real. It's not for us to always understand. It's just for us to know that God is God. Sometimes God does things, he makes choices so that he can get us to just pay a deeper, closer attention to him.
The audacity to say something this irrational and just outlandish. You're going to sit at a funeral where mothers, parents are grieving the loss of 8 innocent lives taken, and you're going to imply that God stripped these children of their lives, of their futures, and threw this community and this family into the thralls of depression and victimhood to draw them closer to God. Y'all, I literally could have threw my phone out of the way. I cannot tell you how enraged, disrespected, and offended I was on behalf of somebody who unfortunately bared witness to this tired-ass attempt to be motivational and inspirational. That you would sit before people experiencing the worst grief they've ever experienced, being total victims, and you will look at the surviving victims of this tragedy, and imply that they've done something wrong, because that's the only reason, according to her logic, why God would have done something like this, to get them closer. So you're also making a spiritual analysis of their spirituality and of their faith, which you know not a goddamn thing about. And then the audacity to be a Christian who serves a God, but believes also in a theology that includes a devil, and not assign this type of devilment and hellishness to the actual enemy, but will put it up on God, while in the underbelly of that, chew away and make an indictment, a unfounded, uneducated indictment against these people's spirituality, which, according to you, they felt so bad at, that God would have had to take the lives of 8 children to bring the surviving believers closer to God. Like, I do not understand. I do not understand. I cannot believe Kim Burrell allowed these things to actually come out of her mouth. That when she sat and thought about what she was going to say to this family and to this community, that she did not hear her own replay back. She didn't catch the reverb. She didn't catch the intellectual dishonesty. She didn't catch the insensitivity. She didn't catch the nice, nasty, and the insultingness. And the fact that Kim Burrell is a big-boned, this is a Christian show, is a fluffy person who has a pathology of being nice, nasty, of being insensitive, whether it's toward the LGBT community, whether it's toward the last engagement she spoke at where she got dragged for practically calling the congregation broke. And why people continue to employ Kim Burrell is beyond me. I'm not really sure what Kim Burrell has ever said that would make anyone believe that, like, I need Kim Burrell on the microphone. I need Kim Burrell on the microphone. I'm going to need this religious narcissist on the microphone, girl, to raise the... I'm trying to figure out, like, what speech... Maybe I missed something. Maybe I can't catch everything. I don't watch everything. Maybe I've missed something. But if it exists, I would like someone to make the skeptic in me into a believer and provide me the Kim Luther King Jr. speech she has given that keeps her ass employed and hired for moments like this that require empathy, compassion, emotional availability, humility, emotional intelligence, all things Kim Burrell totally lacks in. The fact that she would bring them struggling ass ankles up to that damn podium and make a spiritual analysis and indict these people for needing this type of tragedy and trauma in their life to draw them closer to God. Are you out of your rabbit mind? She has lost her damn mind. Kim Burrell has lost her mind. And I want to know who hired her, because I'm sure it wasn't this family. Who was the creative director? Who created the program and put Kim and her damn half wig on the lineup? But if you thought that the insults and insensitivity was just beginning, oh no. She said something even more equally ridiculous. Check this out.
Thank God for innocence lying before us. There are not a lot of people. There are some people who are housed in these boxes, and sometimes it's questionable. We don't know where they're going. But I've got a feeling. I said, I've got a feeling now. I said, I got a feeling about all 8. Can somebody thank God for purity and innocence? The things that God let them not have to encounter. The stuff we're having to go through as adults. Thank God for the victory right here.
Explain to me how this statement makes any logical sense. So after you insult the family by telling them that they're so not spiritual and so not in relationship to God, that they manifested the unaliving of these kids designed to draw them closer to a God that she didn't even know that they were close or not close to, then you pick up and swing the pendulum from one direction to another and say that not only did these children die as a result of the Christian adults being so non-relational to God, but that God took them in order to keep them from having to be an adult and deal with the struggles of adulthood. If that's the motherfucking case, then why were they even created then? How on one hand are you going to preach an omniscient, omnipresent God and then say, oh, God took the life of the very people he gave life to so that they did not have to struggle and deal with the turbulence or the chaos or the hurt and pain of life? So then wouldn't a completely competent, supreme, intelligent being then have decided, as a result of having access to the past, the present, and the future, just opted out of creating such lives to begin with? And then it's literally the intellectual fallacies within all of this rhetoric. So you're saying somehow those 8 children are not deserving, right, of being adults because adulthood is so hard, but everybody else is deserving of that hardship. You yourself, everybody in this congregation, everybody right now on the planet living and alive is deserving of this hell on earth. So are we not as worthy as these kids, or are we more worthy of these kids? And I want the FBI to lock Kim Burrell ass up. I want ICE, the FBI. I want DA of Louisiana. I want a federal indictment against Kim Burrell, and I want her ass taken off the streets once and for all. My brain is literally mush. it is very clear to me that some believers have no idea what the hell they're doing or what the hell they're talking about, and do not know how to sell their God. Do not know how to sell their faith over. Because, baby, if this was in Kim Burrell's brain a marketing opportunity to appeal to struggling believers, skeptical individuals, agnostic people, or all-out atheists, baby, I would have ran out of the goddamn sanctuary from a God like this. I would have skedaddled, baby, and blew up a damn sandstorm in my wake, because that's how fast my feet, y'all ever seen them cartoons where the feet start treading so fast that it creates a tsunami in a circle, baby? All you see is a circle underneath the avatar, girl. That would have been me, girl. Skedaddling, girl. Sonic the Hedgehogging to my Scooby-Doo van, baby, to leave immediately. Because who you think, girl, you selling this to? Are you okay? Why in the hell would I want to? Like, I'm looking at this from the perspective of somebody who already doesn't like God. Like if I was somebody hypothetically that did not like God, I didn't know God, and I thought Christianity was just for wackos, and then I just showed my atheistic ass up to, to support, and I'm having to endure some so-called Christian trying to sell God, and they're telling me that their God takes the lives of children in a attempt to build faith, that their God is bound to not protect an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old because their hypothetical potential future as adults may be hard. I don't even understand how you don't know that you are selling a homicidal God, because you're putting the blood on God's hand, not even on the enemy's hands, not even on Satan's hands, which is interesting. But on top of that, how can I have any reasonable sense of safety and security with the God that you're selling me? So what would be the point of me as a Christian father or Christian mother praying it over my children, when according to your Christian logic, that God is liable, girl, to unalive those children, to keep them from having to know what it feels like to pay bills, or to struggle through college, or to know what it feels like to experience a heartbreak? I mean, I don't understand how this came out of Kim Burrell's mouth. I don't understand the reasoning. I don't understand how she heard it, she said it, and it made sense to her. And unfortunately, because of church brain, as Larry likes to say, this probably actually made plenty of sense to the people who were listening to this in the house of their Lord, which is even more sad. You know what Kim Burrell's powerful speech should have sounded like? I want to come here today amidst this tragedy and talk about the significance of mental health in our community. You had a Black man who is a U.S. soldier, possibly dealing with PTSD, untreated mental illnesses, trauma, loneliness, going through a divorce. And it can be argued that some of these things, had they been acted upon, had they been responded to accordingly and appropriately, could have all out prevented the psychotic break that this man experienced. We're not having enough conversations as a community, nor as a church and a religious community, about the necessity for therapists and counselors and psychiatrists The data around Black men's mental health is through the roof and absolutely concerning. And if the innocent slaying and taking of these young people's lives is not a wake-up call to what the church need to be prioritizing and what the Black community needs to be prioritizing, then I don't know what will. Because God has provided a way outside of prayer, outside of fasting. And it's called getting you some psychiatric help so that the enemy can't use you to do ungodly things, like take the lives of innocent people. See, God would have gave this man the inspiration and the encouragement necessary to get him some help and to bring voice to his pain. The enemy would have told him to live in silence. The enemy would have told him that seeking help would be a contradiction to his faith. You know, something in that vein of a talking point would have been appropriate. She touched not on mental health. She touched not on, I mean, at the very least, you know, we know she believes in the devil. She couldn't even assign this to the damn enemy. She tried to rationalize it being on behalf of God. And then implied that this happened because these people were not at the level of relationship to God needed. So then God got their attention by killing 8 children. She had such a massive opportunity as a Black woman who was a part of the Black community, who I know sees all the same data and all the same statistics that I see, who knows that we're struggling in America in general as it relates to mental health, yet alone if you are a part of a minority community. And the best that you can do is not touch on any of that conversation, any of that information, and push for more mental health awareness, even amongst believers who we know deal with a heavy stigma of believing that their mental health needs are somehow contradictory to the faith that they're supposed to have. And instead of her breaking the chains and nuancing that and inspiring the quiet part to be loud as hell in this dialogue, all her rabid, torn out, egocentric brain could do is find some way to make the community at fault for why these kids died. And then assign it to her God rather than her devil. And then came up with the most laziest, irrational explanation also for why these kids died. Because not only, if you let Kim Burrell tell it, was it the karma of the elders and the parents of these young people, but God also took their life because God didn't want them to suffer. You don't think they fucking suffered by, you don't think that they suffered by dying? You don't think that they suffered by being stripped from the life, the very life that your God gave them? And now it's that God that took their life and took their life in the most violent, inhumane, psychotic way possible. And then this is the God that y'all are selling. This is the God that this is the mind, the psychology. You couldn't even make your own psychology and rhetoric work. For somebody who entered the speech with, you know, God works in mysterious ways, you should have kept it at just that, babe. Because when you tried to explain mysteriousness, and then end up alley open and out intellectualizing yourself and your God out of his goddamn spot and sounding a goddamn fool. When you could have centered this conversation around the necessary, when you could have spoke and empowered Black men who may be sitting in that very same sanctuary dealing with all the demons and devils and all the traumas and all of the unheard parts of their pain, just like that man that took all those children's lives. You had an opportunity to speak to so many Black men who, just like Mr. Sharman, or whatever the fuck his name is, Shamar, who will not speak it out loud, who will not ask and seek help because they're made to believe that Black men's pain have no voice, and that to be masculine means to be able to deal, and keep your stuff together without ever being vulnerable, which is assigned an equivalent in our community to being weak, being feminine. And then to be Christian, you're made to be guilty about needing a psychiatrist and a therapist. She had an opportunity to empower this community, to speak life and resource, tangible resource. What the fuck am I going to do with you up in this bitch telling me that God took my kids from me because I wasn't close enough to him, so he killed them to get my attention, and that the very life he gave to them, he took for them because he didn't want them to fucking suffer while they had to be killed at the hands of their own father? Let me tell y'all, but Kim Burrell would have got her ass whooped. I'm sorry. Kim Burrell would have got her ass whooped on spot, on site. Kim Burrell would have gotten torn to smithereens. The foolishness of it all. And the fact that she sounds probably rational to other religious people is just speaks volumes of how much religion, not spirituality, but how religion and dogma and church brain and Christendom, the culture of Christianity, has really destroyed people's critical thinking and has caused people to settle for a less quality of life as a result of having piss poor philosophies. Piss poor. Nothing redemptive, nothing objective, nothing useful with any of that information, with any of the ideology. Nothing. But let's speak about Christianity because this conversation came up. Is the church failing mental health? Let's see what these Black men have to say about that.
We love deliverance, but not development. We love to have go. Man, you more open now than you ever been. You better talk to somebody. Because a lot of what we thought was deliverance was an emotional meltdown. You just had a breakdown in front of us. I don't know that all of that was the... You had a breakdown. So let's talk to you. Maybe we need to train our author counselors not to take you to another level in God, but to take you to another level in yourself after you just had this experience, because you had all of these thoughts flood your mind and you actually had this meltdown in our presence. God is with us, but God's trying to take you on a journey now and not just give you an experience. I appreciate the experience, and I believe it was the Holy Ghost, and I believe it was the power of God. It's just that I can't leave you where you are, because if I do you a disservice. So who's going to train the church on this next level? Because we train the people to get you to the experience. Oh, gosh. And then we said, oh, that was it. They had a moment. You need to start telling pastors that they need to train their people who to lead their people to, or to at least have a mini session on saying, now, what you going on right now? You know, there might be a little bit of psychosis with that. How about that? Go see somebody. I just think that the church is going to be a healing place that we're going to have to know how to deal with what we deal with. Because we deal with it, but we leave with it undealt because we ain't dealing with what we're dealing with. You're dealing with what you think you're dealing with. But we don't know what we're dealing with. And that's why your ministry is so important, to help us bring a balance to where we are. So again, thank you, Dr. J.
And even though I understand what he is saying, even his talking points to a degree misses the mark, because the emotional breakdown is a part of the emotional breakthrough that becomes a part of the journey of what we call deliverance. What the church needs to do is officially do away with this idea that you are going to pray your way into groundedness and pray your way into emotional wellness and pray your way into these things. In my particular prayer life, what I'm praying for is I ask God to give me the strength and the courage to go and deal and be in the things that I know I'm running from. I don't use prayer as a quantum leap phenomenon to leap over my work, to leap over and through my shadow work. But most believers do use prayer that way. They use prayer to accomplish this quantum leap from A to B, skipping all the space in between to just teleport from one destination into another. Prayer really is the routine ritual of confronting yourself while affirming your capacity to deal, to move through, and ultimately resolve that which you are confronting. So many believers use prayer as a form of escapism. They use going to church as a form of escapism. They use tithing as a form of escapism. Because in being the person who's going to say all the quiet parts out loud, the real attitude that believers have about tithing is, I will buy God's favor. I'm buying God's favor. I have no personal responsibility in the matter. I'm just going to buy my way from point A to point B to point B to point C, from point C to point D. Religious people are some of the most emotionally unhinged people that I know, are some of the most emotionally and mentally messy people, confused and disorganized and immature, completely out of touch with reality people that I know. I don't really know too many believers that have actually gotten over anything. I know more believers who are just trying not to deal and remember the things that they're not over, more so than anything. I know more believers who distract themselves from what they think they're over rather than actually genuinely being healed and made whole. There's a reason why their Jesus and their Savior would tell people in the scriptures to go and show themselves approved. Okay, I just did this, now go be seen by your physician. Go get verified, clarified, and go speak to the other part of healing. I just gave you a burst of peace and clarity that you can use as a foundation. Now go talk to your physicians and let them carry it from there. this ideology is preposterous, that God is so after your attention that God would break his own commandments by killing and then tell you not to. And if it was going to require God to have to break his own commandments just to get your attention, and yet your God had the power to not even create you so that it didn't even have to do that, so that it didn't even have to take other people's lives just to get the attention of yours. It's also just the arrogance and the entitlement and the supremacy wrapped up in it, that God would go through all of this. God would take other people's lives just to appeal to your salvation, as if those people also don't have a damn salvation. And look, I could go on and on and on and on and on all day, but I just want religious folk to really listen to what Kim Burrell have to say, and then understand that this is why the church is dying. The church is outdated. It's out of touch. It does not work. It never really did work. And that they're not going to do themselves any good by going down this road with this church brain intellect, sounding like mad men and mad women. I am completely offended by Kim Burrell's piss poor attempt to be inspirational. It was insulting. It was insensitive. It was deaf tone, and she definitely did not read the room at all. And the most important thing we need to take from this tragedy out of Louisiana is a heavy emphasis on the necessity of self-care and mental health resources afforded to the Black community, because so many of our men and women and young people are suffering in absolute and utter silence. And that's reflected in the data. It's reflected in the statistics. People don't need no more churches. People don't need no more pastors. People don't need no more deaconess and gospel singers. What they can need is real, available, tangible help with their minds, with their feelings, and with their lives. If we had as many mental health facilities on each corner as we do churches, America might not have a mass ooting epidemic to begin with. America might not have a racist issue, a sexist issue, a homophobic, transphobic issue, a poverty issue, a capitalism issue. Get it together. I'm out. Tell me what you guys think about Kim Burrell and her so-called powerful speech. If you enjoyed yourself, y'all don't know what to do. Thumbs up. Give me a share. Share out. Share me out. Thumbs up. You can donate to the platform on Cash App, PayPal. Email me. Follow me everywhere. All information is in the description box below. Let me know. Good night.